Hey, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and today is, I forget what day, Wednesday, September the 12th, and we just really what we had was another trading range. Um, Trading range was about 5 points, pretty typical to what we've been seeing lately, and just not much happening. There was, 5 points is enough room to actually give you some setups. So we'll just start over here with the first trade. The market opened right in here someplace, and we really didn't get a setup until right here. This was the only bar that was really worth going short on. If you didn't go short below this doji right here, or this bar that ticked higher, then by the time these closed and set up, we were, it was obvious trading range, so it's not a very good setup because prices are probably going to snap back just like they did. Even if you took this, you might have got out of this trade. Not sure if you, let me look at it real quick. If you took the first short right there, 38 would have been the entry, and it went to, so yeah, if you took this short right here, it still would have worked. But that was a little bit risky because the highs were really here and here. And so but once we got all these other matching highs and ticked higher and then turned down, then we had a little trap there. And there's not a lot of room back to the EMA, so I really didn't like this setup, but it's hard to argue with that trap. So I took this trade, and I felt like it was worth marking as well, and it was good for it really was an easy scalp for the most part. No runners, prices came back, but you got another chance to enter. Notice this two-legged pullback. You didn't want to go short under this big bullish bar because that's apt to cause a trap. It is a failed break higher above this little double top. Let me go back to my other bar. So if you went short there, to me it's not a great setup. There's too much overlap. But when we made this inside bar and it made a little higher low, then you got a second entry short there. It makes it a lot better trade. You can see what happened on the second entry. It fell really quickly. And this time you had runners. Runners were easily safe on this trade. And so, you could have gotten, you should have gotten 37 to 33. Easy 4 points there, and you probably wouldn't have got it all, but you should have got at least 2 or 3 points out of that without any hesitation. And then of course you just got a nice bounce. And of course, look, you got one leg, you got a measured leg right there, and then you got another measured leg right there, or even right there. So you got your two legs. So then, and you're down here testing these lows from the overnight, so then you got to be expecting a bounce. And another thing that makes this a really nice trade right here is you had all this overlap way away from the EMA, and prices broke lower and stalled. They tried 3 times to go lower there and couldn't do it. So a break above this bar is good for at least a scalp coming back, and you see it turned out to be a good trade. And there really was another entry here, but I didn't like it because of all the overlap once again. And you can see it didn't go, it would have worked, but it didn't go very far until prices pulled back. And then you got a second opportunity here. And notice that you haven't quite got to this EMA. So, and this was a trap because it came down below these lows. So you got a little trap, and this is actually a two-legged move. But it wasn't worth entering here, in my opinion. We needed to know that we were going to get back above the EMA, and we did that right here. So, and you should have been looking for a second leg similar to this one. And again, there's a lot of overlap. So if you didn't take that one, I don't blame you. And it's not a great setup, but it meets our criteria because there's a trap down here, and it's a second entry coming off this low. So, and you got to figure we're going to get another leg, and you figure we're probably going to try to test these highs, and that's exactly where we went to and made an exact high as we did the last time. And there was actually a short right here, but there's too much overlap again, and if you measure this leg, we didn't have a measured leg yet, so it wasn't clear if we weren't going to still try to go a little higher and test these highs. So this was just not a great short yet. It would have worked if you took it, and if you did take it, great trade, but it was a little risky in my book. But then look what happened. You had a here's your new high, you pull back, your first entry long, pull back, second entry long, and it instantly failed and turned down. And so there was a nice short right here. And it did take a little bit to work out, but as long as you kept your stop above the signal bar like we always talk about, it moved on lower. And if you didn't enter here, you definitely should have entered here, because this is a breakout pullback. This turned out to really be congestion before it was over, and then we broke lower, breakout pullback, and you got a little trend line working down through here, just like so. So it's another touch of the trend line, and you should have been at this time thinking that we're coming back down to test these lows, and that's exactly where we came to. And I'm going to share this with you here just so you can see the mistake I made. And this really was the last trade. Actually, there was a long here on the failed break lower, and then that was pretty much it for today, because that's getting late in the afternoon. But let me show you the mistake I made right here. I got short right here. Actually, I got short right here too, and I got my scalp, and it came back and took out my runner. But I got short right here, and at this point, I was really thinking we were coming down here to test this low, and I really thought we were going to fill the gap. There was actually a gap that was down here, somewhere around 14. Where was it? We closed right here yesterday, so that's around 1431. So there's a gap right in here around 1431, and I thought we were going to fill that gap, and I'm shocked that we didn't fill that gap, but we didn't. And what happened was I went short here, gapped out easily, kept some runners, and the problem with my runners was actually, this is the entry right here. Scalped out real easily, held on to a couple of runners. I kept my stop at break even, so you see I didn't quite get stopped out, and because I really felt confident we were at least coming to test this low. And when we made this little break higher and failed and turned lower again right there, it's not a good place to enter short, but if you're still short, you know, that's a good setup to get another push down to test this, to fill this gap. And so when this turned back up, I definitely should have exited right here, and I did not. I held on to this, and it came back and took almost all of that trade back from me. And so this was really a lot of gravy for me today. A lot. I think I had 4 or 5 runners going on this thing, and I played it perfectly, but I should have exited. This is a range day. Let me show you this. You know, it's obvious a trading range by this time, and you fade every new high and every new low. And I kept telling myself, you got that gap down there, they're going to come back and fill it. And when it turned back down right here, I really thought it was going to fill it. And then when it turned back up, I had to exit. So I knew I was wrong then. And I was looking for another leg like this one, and we got even more than that. We actually came and made a new high. And but it was too late to be entering any new trades here. So so I almost traded till the close of the day. That's kind of odd, you know, unusual for me, but I got caught in this trade, and it took a long time to work through. And but anyway, that's I was trying to get about another 5 ticks, and gave back a whole lot of money, and you just can't do that. And that's why I'm always telling you it's better to exit. I should have exited right here, and if anything else, re-entered right here, and I would have probably got my scalp. Would I have got it? I may not have quite gotten it, but I definitely would have exited right here on this turn back up, and I wouldn't have lost any money. I would have broke even at the worst case scenario. So, but that's what happens when you get greedy, and that's how your emotions play on you. I should have tightened my stops, and I definitely should have had it tightened above this bullish bar right here. And I just a mental lapse, and it cost me. I still made money today, but I had a lot of extra money on this move right here on 4 contracts, and I gave all of it back. So that's, let's look at that. That's 30, basically 36. That's 3 points on 4. I can't remember if I had 4 or 5 contracts there. I believe I had 4 though. So that's you figure 4 contracts for 3 points. That's 12 points that I gave back right there, and that stings to me. I hate to give money back. Most of you that follow me probably know that I'm not one to give a lot of money back. I like to exit and then re-enter if the trade's still going in my direction, and I just got greedy there, and it cost me. So that's a good example of how not to trade. When you get down here on a range day and you make a new low below that right there, after the regular open, you got to fade those. And so I should have actually reversed right there. Not only should I have exited, I should have reversed. And I had this trend line right here, and if you clone that and bring it down, it's probably more like that right there. You could see that was way overdone, and that should have been, even if you brought it down to here, we didn't quite make it there, but I believe it's right there, because it's usually the next swing, and you can see it was kind of playing in place. If they were just shooting for this low and they got it and prices bounced out of there and didn't hang around down there long at all, and that should have been my clue. But anyway, lesson learned. I thought I would share my mistake with you today, and so hopefully you don't make the same mistake yourself. Just remember, on a range day, you got to fade every new high and every new low. And this was the case where when we made this little overlap here and broke lower, and we're way away from the EMA. I mean, I talk about it all the time. But what happens when you get in the trade and you're the other direction and you're shooting for a target, you sometimes forget about thinking about trades in the other direction when you shouldn't be doing that, and that's what I did. So, but anyway, I'm going to call it a day. Hope you had a good trading day. Hope you didn't give back a lot of money right here like I did. But this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. We'll see you next time.